Alrighty, everyone. This is meteorologist Timmy Albertson here with you guys for tonight's weather chat. Probably be a little bit of a quick one. Is we're not really seeing a whole lot going on right now across the United States. Things pretty quiet. Again, we had some active weather over the weekend with that system that was tracking its way through the central part of the U.S. and eventually made its way over into New England. That has since made its way off coast. Now we just kind of have this area of high pressure that is somewhat present across a good chunk of the United States. However, as we go forward into the week, we could be seeing maybe some more active weather later on with yet another area of low pressure. But before we get to that, we haven't talked about in a while, and that is the tropics. It's been a little bit quiet in the Atlantic. I mean, Sean is still out there, but actually, no, Sean weakened. It is no longer a tropical system. It was, trust me, folks, it was never strong to begin with. It was kind of like what Rena did. It just developed a little bit, and the wind shear got it. But let's take a look here at the infrared satellite imagery here for the Atlantic Ocean. Might be a little hard for you guys to see there, but if you look down around about around 10 degrees north, about 40 degrees west there, you see this nice little cluster of showers and thunderstorms. That is an area that the National Hurricane Center is watching. That could very well become yet our next named system. So again, we're looking kind of at the bottom right there of your picture. You see that kind of grouping there of storms. Also, there's an area along the Pacific coast, or excuse me, on the East Pacific there off the coast of Mexico. That might also try to develop into something later on. So that's just kind of a look at the tropics right now. Again, no name systems really right now of note, at least in the Atlantic and East Pacific, but maybe as we go later on in the week, we could start seeing some new development there. So with that in mind, folks, let's go ahead and take a look on over at the radar imagery here. Let's see what's going on. And as I mentioned, folks, not very much. As a matter of fact, it's kind of quiet. A few little showers kind of lingering across parts of New England, but overall, it's a rather quiet one across most of the U.S. Now, there are some showers making their way off the Pacific coast, and that is courtesy of kind of a larger area of low pressure. So let's go ahead here, folks, and we'll take a look at the latest weather map. And we can see that if we go off the British Columbia coast, we got this little area of low pressure that is just kind of spinning itself out there. And this is all kind of associated with a kind of a broader upper level trough that is working its way off the Pacific coast. Now, as we talked about last week, ahead of the development of that area of low pressure that we were watching, I mentioned how, one thing when we look for new areas of low pressure develop is we want a really good temperature gradient. And of course, a lot of times we can see that on the eastern edge of the Rocky Mountains. Well, we do have a little bit of a frontal boundary that is there this evening. Now, later on, as we go into the day, or as we go into the day tomorrow, we are going to be seeing this little shortwave trough kind of pushing itself out here. So let's back up here, folks, and just focus on this large image right here. But as we go our way through the day tomorrow, you can see how that upper level trough kind of works its way into British Columbia. Right about here is the area that we're looking at. And then you'll notice that it kind of pushes its way down to the southeast by the time we get towards about Wednesday. So again, we have our little disturbance there, and that is good news for that little temperature gradient, as we could very well be seeing yet another area of low pressure that is going to try to develop, and that one will then maybe try to track its way through parts of the upper Midwest, maybe bringing some rain showers. Now, again, this area of low pressure that we're kind of watching, maybe not going to end up being quite as strong as the one we had last week, but still enough to maybe bring some rain showers across the area. And it'll certainly be something that'll be a little bit interesting to watch as we go forward through the middle part of the work week. Not really expecting much in the way of thunderstorm activity, at least with that system in terms of severe weather or anything like that, kind of like what we saw with last week's low pressure. We had a few severe storms across parts of Nebraska and Kansas, but all things considered, just kind of a quick little moving system that'll pass its way through. And then we could have maybe another system right up behind that there. So overall, weather as we start off the week here, going to be a little bit on the quiet side, but things might try to get a little bit more active later on. And of course, we'll be watching the tropics there, and maybe we'll have our next named little system. With that in mind, for those of you who weren't tuning in last week, one thing to remind you guys all, AWSC is now offering personalized weather forecasts. If you want your own meteorologist, head on over to americasweathersc.com. And if you do decide that you want that service, use the promo code STARTER23. That'll get you a little bit of a discount. Again, there's more than just me with AWSC. I am just the one who does this show here, as well as some of the forecasting for Minnesota and Wisconsin. So if you live in that area, you get yours truly. But all things considered, folks, that's kind of a little bit of an update as to what is going on. Told you, wasn't going to be a very long weather chat. Kind of a quiet day out there, but hopefully things will become a little bit more interesting as we work our way into the next, middle part of the work week. With that in mind, everyone, I hope you all have a good rest of your Monday evening. We got through Monday evening. Now we just got to make it through the other days of the work week. All right, we'll see you back here tomorrow evening for another weather chat. And again, as always, keep enjoying that weather.